Hello, I'm Sunvi Extra, and welcome to my Terraria Airlock showcase and explanation. Here you can see my newly designed Terraria Airlock, and including the wiring, you can see it's a very small and compact design, which is quite surprising considering how reliable and near unbreakable it is. Anyway, if you don't know what a airlock is, it's a mechanism that allows you to enter and exit your base without water entering your base. I'm sure you knew that, but this is a showcase, so there you go. Anyway, if we have a look at it, you can see it's a very accessible design. Can access it from both sides, so it's bi-directional. Just seeing there, we entered from base side while it was full and it emptied for us. Now if we go to C side, it'll fill up for us and we can go through. Now this is a multiplayer safe design, meaning you can use it in multiplayer without any issues or fears of it malfunctioning or breaking. If we look at the sensors, the way they're set up is as soon as the instant a player enters the system, the other side is locked out, so another player can't stand on it and double activate it. And once we hit the middle, both the outside sensors are locked out and remain locked out till we exit the system. Standing here, the other side is locked out right now, so until the player actually leaves all the player sensors, it will remain locked out. So it's pretty safe to use in multiplayer. Well, actually completely safe. Like it is unbreakable. Obviously you can see it's fully automatic, ready to go when you are using player sensors. You can see here the door will open and close at will, ready for me whenever I want to go in. So again, very accessible. Besides the lockout features and multiplayer safety, we've got other features interpreted into this design to keep it running efficiently, and we've got to account for things like water displacement, water overflow and water underflow. So we'll talk about them a little bit, starting with the water displacement. For people who don't know, actuated blocks underwater that then get deactuated trap the water in them, and the blocks will release the water wherever they can, in this case inside the chamber, when the game is reloaded, and that will obviously be an issue. So just to give a quick demonstration of what would happen if I wasn't compensating for it, I'll just disconnect the circuit that controls what would usually deal with the displaced water. We'll set our spawn point and reload the game. Once we come back in, you will see there is now water in the chamber, and that would obviously be a problem. That's not something we want to happen, so I've actually got a system in place to compensate for that. So we'll reconnect this, use the system again. Here you will see it will refill with the displaced water from the blocks. Empty the system again, then reload the game, and this time you will see it's automatically getting rid of the water for us. Now what it's doing is, if we were to demonstrate this in real time using the water bucket, putting the water bucket in here would be the same as the displaced water when the game loads. The sensor is sensing the water and then dispersing the water either into the bottom chamber or up to the up and back out to the sea where it originally came from, depending on whether the bottom tank is at capacity or not. If I do this, you can see it's coming out the top pump up the left there. If I empty the bottom chamber a bit, you can see when I do it again, it will first go down into the bottom chamber before reaching capacity and then going up to the top. So the extra water will always be dealt with from water displacement. If you notice though, this is actually helping 2, even 3 issues by solving this one problem here, because we're not only getting rid of the displaced water, we're also keeping our bottom chamber refilled and the sea topped up as well, therefore compensating for underflow. For people who don't know, liquids act weird in Terraria when you're doing things like pumping them and displacing it, and sometimes you can use more than you you get and give more than you get. Whatever, you get more than you give and give more than you get. So you can end up depleting your water source, or it can end up overflowing. So this is why I'm talking about this, and the fact that I've got systems like this built in. So if we were to use this system in a full-size Terraria ocean, it would be completely independent. You can see it's got its own independent wiring and it keeps itself topped up. There is a scenario where you may want to use an external water source, which is something we'll get to, but as of now, this is an independent system you can use without any fear of water depletion, as long as you're using it in a full-size Terraria ocean. A large body of water like a natural Terraria ocean wouldn't notice the small amounts of water displacement in this system, because it does compensate a lot for it. Besides the water underflow and water displacement, we also need to compensate for overflow, which is actually pretty simple to do. As you can see here, filling the chamber up, it will not go above the lava line. If we look up here, I've also got the same thing set up. We can just disperse water in here all day and the lava will keep on evaporating it. If we look under the lava, you'll see I've got a junction box. You can use junction box, any of these AND gates, a chest in a 4-block hole. There's a lot of things you can use in Terraria to stop the lava from turning into obsidian and instead evaporating the water. So that's how we deal with overflow. So you can see it's a pretty sturdy design. It's pretty much unbreakable, and yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the system. I won't go into detail how everything does what it does. You can see the system here. I may do in a future video, but we'll get to that. Besides how the system works, you can see we've got these lights here. No big deal. They're not needed, completely unnecessary. I just wanted to interpret them into the system, and it's pretty good that I was able to fit the circuit for them into this compact design here, so it's good. Anyway, reason I bring up the lights is, well, first explaining how they work. You can see as we enter the system, they turn from green to yellow, indicating that it's no longer vacant and is now occupied, and then when we enter the system, they start flashing red hazard lights to show that the system's in use. But yeah, anyway, the reason I bring them up is because they are actually the one and only thing that have a bug that isn't worth counteracting. I would literally have to double the size of this system just to prevent this bug, which is if I was to quit out right now, standing inside the system, quit out of the game, which would be the same as teleporting out with the Rod of Discord. You can see now that the lights are the wrong way around, so we've reversed the lights, and yeah, so that's it. Small bug with the lights, so you can break the lights, but why are you teleporting in and out with the Rod of Discord or quitting out of the game while you're standing in it anyway? That's the question. So yeah, it's not really worth all the wiring it would take to counteract the way light states work in Terraria. So yeah, small thing there, but besides that, as stated, this thing is unbreakable, besides the obvious, which is the same type of things that would break any Terraria timer based mechanism or any world load detector system in Terraria. them things being if you were to quit out right now when the system's in use. Obviously, if the system trying to do something, if you quit out before it can finish doing it, it's not going to be able to finish doing it, and when you get back into the game, it's going to be broken. The other thing is obviously with the world load detection. World load detection detects your world loading and starts your timers up. It can take up to 5 seconds to do so, unlike the 5-second rule when it comes to world load detection, so you can break this if you quit out of the game within 5 seconds. But then again, why are you quitting out of the game within 5 seconds or quitting out while the system is active? You know, you're pretty much asking for it to break if you're doing them things. Anyway, that's pretty much the system in its total, and the lowdown of it, how it works essentially. You know, the features of it. We've just got a couple more notes here before we wrap the video up, so guess I'll get to it, and that's external water sources. I just want to bring up a few notes about that, as external water sources, well, you know, your sea levels, overflow, underflow, and all that is something you do have to worry about when working with systems like this, whether it be an airlock or something else that is pumping water in and out and displacing it. That being that, if, as I said, you could use this system in a full-size Terraria ocean without any issues, because the body of water is too big to notice that little bit of water displacement. But if you're using it in something small like this, or a small lake, not that you'd be using it in something like this particularly, but yeah, if you're using it in a small lake, you might start to notice water displacement. You'd have to use the system a lot of times to start to notice it, but it may start to slowly go down over time, and you wouldn't want that to happen. So that's where external water sources come in. If you notice, when I take water out of this, it will automatically top up. Obviously, we know how that works. I've got a timer hooked up to a pump, keeping it topped up. But you may be asking, okay, that's annoying. I don't want to have to turn a timer on to keep my external water sources running every time I load the game. And that there is where world load detectors come in. A world load detector will obviously detect the world loading and will start your timers up for you automatically. So just a quick demonstration of that for anybody who's wondering. Obviously, when you reload a Terraria game, normally timers would be off and you'd have to turn them on again. But if we reload here, you'll see it will be on automatically by itself, and that's from the use of a world load detector. If you're interested in how they work, or how to build one, and may be interested in building a system like this and looking for a way of doing this, I've got a tutorial for a world load detector I designed myself on my YouTube channel, so you can go there and check that out if you are interested in this. But essentially, getting back on topic here, I've got my external ocean getting topped up automatically all the time, maintenance free. I don't have to do anything about it. So this keeps my water level above this pump at all times, and it will never go above this lava line. So my sea level will always remain within this block radius I've chosen for it. Another note on this quickly is the fact, okay, yeah, we've got an external water source keeping our sea topped up, but where's all this external water coming from? And that there again is where another thing I have on my YouTube channel you can go check out, which is infinite liquid generators for water, lava, and honey. So I'm infinitely generating water over on the side, which is transferring water up to my containment tank. This is actually set up for another video coming up, but then the containment tank is keeping my my sea levels up at all times. A little bit of off topic there regarding this system, but it's definitely something that needs to be brought up for anybody who's interested in a system like this, and also an explanation of how you may or may not need an external water source depending on where you're using this system. Anyway, that being said, it's about time to wrap things up. Just one more thing here, and that's this. You know, you may see this system reliable, easy to use, fully automatic, cool, but I don't want this big chunk of thing in my base or next to it. Fully understandable. So before we end the video, I'll just quickly demonstrate how you could move this whole box out of the way, grab the wires, extend them out to it, and essentially put this anywhere in the world. Then all you need in the world is just this section along with your 5-player sensors. So I'll just show you that quickly. So here we are in the sea biome in my main world. You can see here I've got a couple of airlocks set up, but you may also notice that I don't have the big heap of wiring below it. So you can see that you can really fit this into your scenery however you see fit, and it really doesn't look out of place too bad, you know, especially if you may be a little bit of a better builder than me. You can really make this fit into your environment and it'll look good. Anyway, if you look at the wiring, you can see I've extended it and thrown this all the way down here. Now you can grab this lava, lower it all the way down out of sight, get rid of the torch, and it'll be completely black down here. You won't be able to see anything, so it'll be completely out of mind, and all you'll have here is this little box along with your 5-player sensors, and I've obviously got a little junction box in there because, yeah, I needed to separate the wires. But either way, that's the system. For anyone who's interested, leave a comment, and if I get enough comments showing interest and pretty much requesting it, we'll consider doing a video tutorial on this. Otherwise, I'm planning on uploading a written tutorial with segmented screenshots showing the individual wire collars installed by themselves to Terraria.org. Once I get around to that, the link to it will be in the description, so you could go there and maybe even build this just looking at the pictures from the written tutorial. Otherwise, you know, if you switched on enough, you can maybe look at what you've seen in this video and maybe even just duplicate it from this video. But yeah, if you're interested, leave a comment. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for bearing with me through this video. It's actually the first vocal video I've put online in a few years, so yeah, I'm a little rough around the edges. I guess, yeah, I apologise for that. But yeah, thanks again for having a look at the new airlock, and yeah, have a good one. Bye.